Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing the brand new Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit for June 2021, and it is a awesome kit for birthdays. So I'll be using the main 6x8 stamp set and the coordinating dies. There are tons of add-ons that you can get for this main kit as well. I'll be sure to link to everything down in the YouTube description box below the video so that you can check out this brand new kit and all of the add-ons that are available. So let's dive right into making some birthday cards with this latest Hero Arts monthly kit. To make this first card, I'm going to stamp out all of the images from the 6x8 stamp set that you can find in the main kit. You can see there's tons of little kittens and puppies, and there's bunches of balloons, and some of them have their paws up so that they can be floating on a balloon string. So these are the Copic colors that I'm going to be using for the balloons. I'm going to make an ombre group of balloons that go from lightest at the bottom to darkest at the top. So I am starting with my lightest Copic marker and I'm filling in most of each balloon starting from the bottom going up. Then I go to my mid color and I'm doing kind of the mid up to the top, and then the darkest color I am going to use just at the top few balloons. And I do leave a little bit of white at each balloon so that I can go over with either the mid or the lightest color to create a highlight on each of those balloons. But the overall effect is that there's an ombre group of balloons, and they start with the lightest colors at the bottom and go up through the darkest colors at the top. And I am going to add some white gel pen with my favorite white gel pen to add the little bit of highlights on those balloons to make them more stand out. And then I'm going to use purple tape to hold the coordinating dies in place. So all of the things in the stamp set have dies and you can cut everything out. I'm going to take out the foam pad from my original Misty because I am going to be using a cling mounted rubber stamp from Hero Arts. This is their all over confetti stamp. It is a 6x6 rubber stamp that has that cling mounted background, which means that it already has foam attached to it, so you don't need the foam in the Misty. I'm going to be using Hero Arts shadow inks in 3 different colors. I have a soft pink and then a mid-tone and then an ultra pink for the top. So I am going to do the same thing as the balloons. I'm going to have the darkest color at the top, lightest color at the bottom. So I stamped the whole stamp with the soft pink just to cover the whole thing with that. And then I'm going to do the midline with that mid-tone from the pinks, and then the very top is going to be the ultra pink. And I'm using my Debbie tool to get a really good impression and look at how clear it is without having to do CPR on the Misty. So I am stamping a sentiment from the stamp set that says, "Let's get the potty started," which I think is so cute. They have some really cute pun sentiments and then just some happy birthday sentiments, and even kind of like a hang in there type of sentiment for one of the little kitties or puppies that's just hanging from the balloons. I am just going to cut around the part of the sentiment that really sticks up so that I can have a thin strip on most of it. And what I did was I did use my trimmer to cut in towards the center, and then I just used some scissors once I had a nice guideline of how it was going to go, and then I just went rogue and cut the bottom closer with the scissors. So I think it looks fine. It probably could have been straighter, but you know what? I just like the way it looked with all of the hanging letters being cut out. So I trimmed down that stamped background to 4x5 1/4 and placed it on some pink cardstock. And now I'm using some foam squares on the grouping of balloons to pop those up and get some dimension out of them. And then I colored my little puppy, cut him out, and now he's hanging from those balloon strings. I'm going to use some Memory Runner XL, which is my favorite tape runner, to adhere the sentiment right onto the strings of the balloons there. So it is popped up as well. I could have put some foam tape on the sides, but I failed to do that. That's okay. I think it'll be fine. I forgot to color in those little bottoms where the balloon cinches, so I did that. And then I'm adding some little dots of Copic marker to the sentiment strips so that it doesn't look too just solid white. And then last but not least, I did add some Nouveau Crystal glaze to the balloons to make them shiny and a little bit dimensional as well. This is my favorite way to add gloss and shine and dimension. Just a really cute little image there. I just love this stamp set so much. So I'm going to, this time, since we did puppy last time, I'm going to do a kitty, even though I am definitely a dog person, but these cats are super, super cute. So I'm going to color them in with a couple of Copic markers. I also colored a little birthday cake, and I'm just going to add some swipes of the Copic marker to make it look like fur, but I am going to go back over it with another marker to blend it out so it doesn't look like lines. This time I'm using some Hero Arts cardstock. It's the nautical cardstock, one of my favorite colors. Again, I am taking out the foam piece of the Misty so that I can stamp that confetti right on top of my cardstock. My cardstock was a little bit smaller than 6x6 this time, since I didn't really need the whole 6x6. I am treating the cardstock with anti-static powder and brushing away the excess with my Tonic Studios sweep brush so that it is not going to attract any powder, but it doesn't have clumps of the powder either. And then I'm using Versamark ink to ink up my confetti stamp. So I am really just making sure that I only have to do this once, so I really inked it up really good, and then I use the Debbie tool to get all that even impression so that I really don't have to stamp it more than once, and I love the fact that I don't have to do that. I'm using Hero Arts White Satin Pearl, which is one of my favorite embossing powders. It's such a subtle, pretty look once you heat set it, and it looks great on any color of cardstock. So I thought this would be a totally different look than the pink layers of colors of the gradient that we achieved last time. This will be kind of more of a darker, just fun confetti silvery look on top of that cardstock. So really heat set all of those little bits of confetti go along there, and you can work on your waffle flower mini media mat or water media mat because it is heat resistant. This time I'm using the Hero Arts Happy Birthday panel here. I'm going to cut this out of white cardstock. I'm using Nina Solar White because I want it to be a nice thick layer of cardstock. There was some anti-static powder left, so I'm just going to wipe it away with a dry towel there, just so that that embossing powder really shines and there's none of the anti-static powder left. I am going to trim this down to about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but just a touch smaller. This way it sits right behind that panel that we die cut and there's no worries about it coming out on the side. I am going to add some white gel pen accents to my Copic colored kitty and cake, but I'm also using the white gel pen to go around the outside because I did get some marker over the stamped edge that I couldn't really get off with the colorless blender. So a little bit of white gel pen really does the trick there. I'm using that Memory Runner XL, that tape runner, all over the die cut Happy Birthday panel, just little bits here and there, and then I'm going to lay it down on a piece of acetate that is cut to A2 as well. So that is going to create my shaker window. I doubled up my foam adhesive here, and now I'm cutting it down to thin strips because I wanted to go all the way around that cardstock panel to create a really big shaker. I've done shakers before with this die where I've cut it out of fun foam, but then you have to fill each individual letter, and I didn't feel like doing that this time. So instead, I'm just putting all of the sequins right in the middle of the background panel there. I'm going to tuck them tidy into the center, and then I'm going to lay this window with our popped up foam behind it right on top of those sequins. And I just want to center my panel so that it is right on top of the panel behind it, and then just press down, and then I had just some foam sticking out, so you can either tuck it in using your finger or you can trim off the side. Now I'm going to pop up the little cat and the little cake right over the D and the A for birthday. I felt like that was clear enough what the panel was saying, even though some of the cat is covering up the letter there. And I love this one because the cat is kind of going for that piece of cake. Super, super cute. It even has its little tongue sticking out. So that is just another way to use these images. For this card, I'm actually going to do some ink blending with the Hero Hues Reactive inks. I have 3 colors of them. I have Splash, Key Lime Fizz, and then I have the yellow as well. So I'm doing blue on the top and the bottom, and then green, right next to that, and then the yellow right in the center. And I am using the domed foam blenders because I get a nice smooth blend when I do use them. And I just love the way that those three colors look. I'm going to use the Hero Arts liquid watercolor in white. I love this for splatters of white watercolor. It is really very liquidy and it's super easy to use. I have used this dropper before, but I find I get better splatters when I use a brush. So this is a number 4 brush. I'm going to use this to dip it into the liquid watercolor and then hold it on my fingers and then tap, tap, tap on the top of the brush to get those tiny little splatters, which is exactly what I was looking for. It almost looks like confetti and it looks very birthday themed on that inky, colorful background. Love that. And it doesn't get translucent. It is opaque like that. So just a really easy way to make white splatters. I am going to color in this balloon. I'm just going to do one color and then I'm going to do like an arc or a crescent moon of the darker color just to add a little bit of shading and blending. Really easy way to do that with just 2 colors. And then I'm going to add the highlight with the white gel pen. I know that's cheating, but you know what? That's okay. When you don't have time, you have to just do a little bit of cheating. So then I'm going to color in the kitty with some grays. So I am using the neutral 0 here and going along all of the head, the paws, the tail. I just left the belly open, and then I'm going to use N2 to add some just shadow to those areas, and then I'll go back in with the N0 and really cover everything up with some dots. I like putting my die cuts in the Mini Misty to determine where I'm going to put the sentiment, and then I just take them out. So I don't like to glue them down until I've actually stamped the sentiment, but I do like to place them in there just to see exactly where that happy birthday is going to go, right on that yellow, which I think really makes it pop. So now that I have the sentiment stamped, I can pop up the kitty on some foam tape and pop up the balloon as well. And I love this so much. I just think it is such a quick and easy but cute card, just something totally different. If you want to see what I created with last month's Hero Art Kit, check that video out over here. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Have some birthday cards in your stash because they always come up. They don't come up last minute. You remember them last minute. There's a difference there. So let's dive.